Hey guys, welcome back to another Sorted George Garage with me, Julian. 66 New Yorker, Miss Daisy. We're having some fun and games with the turn signals. Let's see if we can sort it out. Here we go. Turn signals. This is a weird one. Look at this. Right, I'll turn the ignition on. Now, left hand, you can hear it, and you can see the alternator one going as well. Now I'll just move that back up to off. There it is. And she's still going. Now if I turn it up to turn right, she's gone. Back down to the middle, still off. Yeah, that's in the middle. Still going. That's off. And that's up to the right, and there's nothing on the right hand side. So I would say that in here the indicator turn signal cam, I think, is probably a little bit on the loose side, or might be a bit dry, might be cracked, I don't know, because I mean she is what, 66, so she was August 66, so just over 56 years old. So either in there the cam is cracked or it's a little bit on the loose side. That's what I reckon anyway. If you've got any other ideas, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think it is before I carry on. Sorted, George. Right, while they're away leaving their comments, I'm just messing about with the centre pad. Yeah, let me show you. Right, what's happened to the centre pad is that this metal frame has come unstuck, unglued from the centre cap here, okay, centre of the steering wheel. So, obviously, that wasn't on. But also, the frame that clips in, these clips that clip into the actual steering wheel part, I've only got two on there. These two have broken off. This is the actual frame that it clips into, but I've now managed to sort that out. So that now will clip in on there like so, line them up, and that should, as long as it's not camera shy, because it was working perfectly. There you go. That is now, no, see, look, it's gone camera shy now. It don't like me. Right, come on, you stay there. There you go. Right, that's it. Jobbed. Right, that's in there now. That's nice. That is not going to come off of there at all. Well, it will, obviously, if you give it a tug. But it's not something that is going to be pulled about. It's just the centre of the steering wheel, and it is not the horn. So, what I've done at the moment as well with this, where's the centre badge? Here we go. The centre badge, okay, you see where this mark is here, okay? Well, that on the back, oh, you probably can't see it, but just about there was a pin that came out. Obviously it's broke off, but the pin came out of there and it went through the hole there and then came through this metal frame. So I'm utilising that hole to try and hold these two together, all right? And obviously that will now fit over there nice, and it will just glue in. That will be fine. But you're still a little bit on the loose side here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drill another hole there, come through, and then put another one of these nut and bolts in, and then I can just trim these off so that they're nice and flush, and they can stay in there. Bit of belt and braces job. So right, I'm just going to do that and I'll come back. Sorted, George. Right, jobbed. There it is. I'm not going to glue this on now because it is actually on there nice and strong. That ain't going to come off at all. All I'm going to do is basically just glue the centre badge on. So I should put that on. glue that on, and that's taken care of that, isn't it? Lovely. Sorted, George. Right, let's crack on. Right, so back in the car, what I've got to do is I'm going to unlock the steering telescopic. There you go. So that's now unlocked. I've got to undo these 3 screws, and then obviously then we will be able to see what's going on behind. Right, so let me take these off first. Right, that's them 3 out of the way. Now, if you're not unsure, this now unscrews from the centre. Okay, this is the basically the locking mechanism for the telescopic telescopic part on the column. So that now unscrews. If you can see anything in there. Yeah, there you go. You can see the thread. So that comes out. Lovely. That can get out of the way. This should now, yeah, there you go. That will just lift away. Can you see that pin down in there? Down where that, where I've just unscrewed that from. Basically, how it works, okay, that screws into there, okay. You screw it all the way down till it stops, and then you come back out just a tad. That's the unlock. That's the lock. And basically what it is that as that screws in, it pushes that rod that's in there, it pushes it down further onto something that looks like a keyway, like on a crank, you know. That's what it looks like. And basically, as it pushes down, it then grips the telescopic part of the column. So one grips against the other. So obviously, then it can't move. And that's how that works. So what I should do is I shall undo that nut. It looks like these 3 bolts here hold on the horn section of the wheel. If you look sort of like down that way, there you go. Look, you can see that it's in 2 halves, 2 parts. So that's the horn on there and there. So this will come off, and then I'll come back and see what we got. Okay, right, slightly different than anticipated. This section here, okay, is screwed to this from underneath, and then these 3 bolts hold this lot to the actual steering wheel. So now that I've undone it, if I pull this off, okay, you will have a great big spring. There you go. There's the horn. Right, there's your big spring. Now, if you look down in there, you will see 4 screws. Okay, focus. There you go. Right, so you got 4 screws in there. That holds this metal piece to this piece. Okay, and then those 3 bolts that I said hold everything to the actual steering wheel. All right. So what I'm going to do later, I will remove them 4 screws to separate this so that I can clean everything up. But that's the steering wheel out of the way. Excuse me. So that's going to be the cam for the turn signals. Okay. I expect the wiring is a little bit down further or something. I'm not sure. The only thing that I have found is this. Hang on, let me get my screwdriver. That piece at the end of the screwdriver there is missing off of there. I have seen it. It is buried down in there. You might just be able to see that cream thing down there deep in the bottom. There you go. I'm trying to get it better for you. There you go. There it is. Look at that. So I'm assuming that that is that by the shape of that. Other than that, I can't see, and it looks and sounds fine. Great big C-clip. That obviously tucks up. If I can get that in focus for you, but that obviously tucks up underneath there. I don't really want to take that out without doing a little bit of research yet, because I think I have taken apart a 66 B body steering column before, and I know it's kind of like sprung loaded, so you've got to sort of get everything in, then sort of push it all the way down and then put in the C-clip. But I don't know if this is going to be similar. Right, let me have a play and I'll come back. Right, I've had a bit of a play. I've got out one's Christmas present. Now, what you are looking at, that there with the thread is actually this one, okay, which is the like the tilt. And then if I go back, and then this part here, that I will wiggle it. There you go. That is the actual indicator stalk. Okay. Now, if you look around here, that area, it looks a bit on the grubby side. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to chuck a load of WD-40 down there first, just to see whether or not that might actually clear out any of the gunk that is down there. Worth a try. If not, then what I'll have to do is take out the bottom part of the steering column and then see what else we got going on. I'm going to try that first because it's still, hang on, let me get that out of the way. Even after messing about, it's still doing it. So there's your left. But what I have noticed, right, that's back to 0, but if I now move that steering, the turn signal stalk, just, there you go, it's gone off. Just a fraction. So it might just be a load of crap down there. There you go, look at that, it's gone. But it's not making the contact there. So, it might just be a load of rubbish down there. Let's give that a go. Let's give it a go and I'll come back. Sorted, George. Right. Nearly 2 hours later, I've sussed it. Now, right, I'll tell you what, hang on. Right, let me just go back a little bit. It's got to be a good 10 years ago. A dear friend of mine, Rupert, and I, we both had a 66 satellite B-body. He's still got it, actually. And what we done, we stripped out, although it wasn't a tilt and slide, it was just a standard column. Okay, what we done, we took the column out, we stripped it all out, and this is what I was referring to about, turn the flash on, about this C-clip, and it's all sprung loaded and everything else. I have had a look at the C-clip and I'm like, don't know. Doesn't look like it. Anyway, in that B-body steering column, okay, down the side ran all the wires, okay, all the way down, and they came out about here, right? And they came out in like a flat terminal, okay, rather than like a block. It came out in a flat terminal. And then obviously you just connected up the two terminals, the two male and female blocks. So this is why I thought all the wiring was in the steering column. It turns out that the 66 C-body tilt and slide steering column is all mechanical. Right, and I have sussed it. The only wiring, well, the only wire, I'm going to take up underneath, so I apologise in advance for the camera work, because I'm now on my belly and I'm trying to get you in. Hang on, see if I can get a better position. Right, there, that would do. Now, if you look at this black wire, that is the only one I can find that is coming out of the steering column. So I think that has something to do with the horn. That block behind,
is the wiring. Okay, that is the turn signal. What's name? Now, you got that rusty spring there, okay? Just above it is a coil, okay? And if I can use my, just above my screwdriver there, in obviously the background, is a cable. And just above that spring, you can see the cable. All right, and then the coil just above my screwdriver, that coil is like you would find on the end, hang on, I'm zoomed. It's like what you would find on the end of a vent cable, or like a heater thing to adjust the heater. Now, it was just by luck that I found it, but right, let me show you. Right, so you can see that coil thing, right? I'm going to turn on the ignition. I'm going to indicate left, and there it is, pulled up. You can hear it. Turn it off. Oh, there you go, it's gone off now. Let's try that again. Oh, it's gone off now. Okay, fine. So if I go right, it'll go down with nothing. But if I push that down, is it gonna? There you go. That's now working. And there she is. So that's working. There you go. You can see the reflection. So it turns out that that thing there is obviously the turn signal switch, and it is not all wired up in the column there. It's all mechanical down that steering column, and the actual switch is obviously up underneath there. So turn off the ignition. So we've sussed it. So what I've got to do now is obviously take that off and clean it and see what's going on. Again, there may be something inside that's broke. Thus, I don't know. I'll have to take it off and have a look. Yeah, let me just show you this as well. Where are you? Right. I can actually move that up and down. Maybe you can position it properly so that you can get the left and the right. I don't know, because I did have a play with that, slid it up and down. That's probably why when I turned the left-hand turn signal off, that's probably why it actually went off. Right. Sorted, George. At least I've got something to crack on with. Banging. Right. Next day. Out of breath trying to get this out, I tell you. Right, here it is. This black unit is caged into this frame here. Okay, and then this frame is like pot rivet type thing onto the frame that bolts to the steering column, and that just slides up and down like so. Okay, so there's the little peg underneath that slides for the turn signal. Okay, so I'm just going to take the actual unit out of the cage, so bear with me. I've already sort of like freed it up, but I haven't got it out yet, so hang on. Right, I've just prized my screwdriver into that corner, and I've just got it off. So let's have a look. Can we turn the flash on? There you go. Let's have a look and see what happens when she comes out. Is everything going to fall apart? Doesn't look like it. Right. Oh, hang on. What was that just dropped out? Something felt like something dropped out. Yes, there's a ball bearing there. Hang on. Right, let me get this apart properly and I'll come back. Right, there's the switch apart. We've got 3 ball bearings up here that kind of fell out. Don't know where they go. We've got 3 triangle switch brass plates, and we got 3 springs. Now, looking at the bottom of this, we got 3 holes. So obviously 3 springs. Sorry, there you go. 3 springs go in the holes. Also, you've got a slot here and a slot here. Now, this slot is wider than what this one is, okay? And on these little brass things, that is narrower. Hang on, so I'm getting in focus. That is narrower than what that is. So that's how it came apart, like so. So at least I know how it goes back together. I just got to sort out where these ball bearings go, and I've noticed there was a bit of paper or something on this one, or paint. Not sure why, but hey, there you go. So yeah, I'm just going to take this lot apart and give it a bit of a clean, as you do. I mean, it looks pretty clean in there, to be fair. And out of these 3 what's names, the middle one is the smallest. So there's my 3 springs. So I can give that a bit of a clean. So that's good. And then put it back together. I'm still umming and ahhing whether or not it's this that is at fault, actually, or whether it's just the way that the cable is that obviously hooks over it and then needs to be adjusted. I'm not sure, but it is such a nightmare underneath there. You've got absolutely no room. And obviously when these were put together, they were on the bench like this and then put onto the column, and then the column was put into the car. So they had a lot more room than what I did. I've got a complete car, not a half empty one. So, right, I'm going to get on and clean this. Here we go. Right, I think I've sussed it. Here we go. Okay, I've cleaned up all the terminals, etc., and I've cleaned up the bottom of this little sort of triangle thing here. They've all had a clean. So's this. Now, I've got 3 ball bearings, but it should have 4. Now, those terminals obviously slide across here, okay? They fit into the bottom of that. Now, on the top here, okay, we have, I don't know if you can see where my finger is, them slots, okay, they've got, you can certainly see it on the bottom ones here, okay, they've got some sort of scuff marks, and they look like roll marks. And that sits up flush in there like so, okay. Now, if I turn that over, we have got some marks here, but not so much down here. So I would say the ball bearing was missing out of this one, and it looks like it's been missing for quite a while. So it looks like we only had 3, not 4. So now I know where the ball bearings go. When this goes back together, they just sit in these little grooves here, and then that cage goes over the top. Hold it nice and tight, turn it over, clip it in. Bob's your uncle. Right. So at least I know all that lot's done and clean. I just got to put that back together. So I know it's going to be a pig of a job, but never mind. But I think what needs to be adjusted is the cable running from the turn signal switch down to that switch. Right, let me show you what I mean. Right, apologies in advance because this is going to be a bit difficult to film, but you can see there's the loop that goes over that there, okay, and then where my fingers are, all right, that there is obviously the clamp onto the cable, and that hole, okay, you go through there, that bolts through there. So the cable is kept in one place only, as in the sheath of the cable is kept in one place, and then obviously this bit moves up and down in its sleeve, which then in turn obviously slides that up and down, right? So I think all I have to do, bearing in mind there's no room, but never mind, I think what I have to do is just move this up just a fraction, so when it is sat in place, this cable sheath is down a tad, which will then, instead of that sitting there, it can sit down a little bit. So on the right hand turn signal, it will actually reach all the way down the bottom and make contact, and then obviously up the top and make contact. So it would appear I didn't need to take that switch apart, but I'm glad I have, because obviously at least I know what's going on in there. And I know that it all works fine and it's all clean. So at least it's done anyway. So I hope this helps you out, how all this lot comes apart. Right. Let's go and put it back together. Here we go. Right, orientation of the switch. That there is, like, if that was the column, that sits on the column there, and that is the steering wheel end, and here's the brake pedal, okay? Because if you turn it over, there is the screw hole that the cable clamps into, and the cable goes up the column, okay? So that is the orientation of that. If you turn that over, you have got a hole there and a hole just there, okay? And that sits over those two little nipples there, okay? So that sits over. There you go. Find the hole. That will sit there. So that way then you can't get the switch upside down when you put it back. Thus, when you turn right, you'll flash left, and when you turn left, you flash right. So there's the orientation. That's how it goes back in. I'm just going to put this lot back together and crack on. Right, switch going back together. Let's see if I can film this for you. So that will end up going over like so, okay? So we've got the 3 springs that go in the 3 holes, like so. See if I can get it so that you can see it. All right, that goes in like so. You've then got the 3 brass triangle bits. One sits there, that one sits there, that one sits there. So that's in there like that. That's how it came apart, with the long terminal at the top. Okay, so turn that over. I know I've got to put the ball bearings in yet, but I'm not worried about that. So that now can sit in like so. There you go. So that's now like that. And goes like that. All right. But now I want to put the ball bearings in. Bear with me. This is going to be fun. Right, so you can go in there. You can go in there. You can go in there. Right, can I rest that? Yeah, there you go. That will sit there. You sit in there. That will actually sit there. That's good. Right, so you go over like so. Push that down. There you go. That's got him. Lovely. That's that together. That's that together. And now ball bearings are tucked behind. In there, can't see them. But that's still rolling lovely. Sorted, George. Right, let me just fold these tabs over. Right, there it is, all back together, jobbed, and what I've done, I've just put a little bit of grease between the 2 units because they slide like so. Now, what I did notice when this was on the car, okay, when you change gear, because this car is a column shift, not a floor shift, when you change gear, let's say like from park to drive, this slightly moves up just a fraction. So obviously something is in the way with another, hence why the manufacturers have put this on a slidey plate. I gather that this idea is actually a GM idea, where you've got the cable coming down to do the turn signal like so, rather than a Mopar idea. Also, I've just cleaned up the terminals in there so that I've got some good connections going on. Right, let's go and put this back in the car. Oh, hang on. Also, what I've done, I've just moved that clamp up just a fraction. You can see there on the witness marks. I've moved it up the cable just a fraction. So hopefully then that's brought the whole of the sheath and cable down enough so that when I signal right, the cable will then go down far enough to be able to make contact and make it work. Let's find out if it works. Here we go. Right, I've put the frame on, the cable on, I've clamped the cable on there. As you can see, I know it's not actually affixed to anything. I've got the wiring back on. Let's see. Ignition on. Turn left. Yeah, that's fine. And now let's turn. Oh, that's gone off. Turn right. Yeah, gotcha. Right. Yeah, off. Left. Off. That's banging. Sorted, George. Now I can put this lot back together. It's in a couple of hours. And it was 3 hours. I had to drop the steering column and everything. But it is done. Ignition on. Sorted, George. Turn right. Turn left. Lovely. And that's all done. Steering wheel centre is all on. That's good. Gave this a bit of a clean up, as you do, all the stalks. Right. Jobbed. Right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks ever so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Like, share, hit the subscribe button as well if you wouldn't mind. That will really help this channel grow. It's a new one on me, this. I didn't know that the turn signal switch was actually at the bottom of the column. I always thought that they were on the actual sort of council cam. I thought it was all done up there. Quick apologies to Rupert. I know, mate, we had a 66 Coronet. He was probably screaming at the screen when I said satellite. Also, nip over and check out my mate Chris over at Sweet Machine. He's got some good stuff going on over there. He's almost done with his service rig. Probably one more video and then we're out on the road. Can't wait for that one. Guys, I will see you on the next one. It's Sorted George Garage. Banging.